11 of their last 12. Their 1994 finals opponent, the Cleveland Crunch, have had some landmarks of their own.
500 indoor goals.
Thanks to Hector Marinaro, the Crunch have been prime-time players. Now the other half of the dynamic duo, Zoran Karic, is back from an injury, ready to add to Cleveland's incredible attack. Okay, we're all back from the holidays, so keep that money in your pockets because there's still no hockey, there's still no baseball, but there is the NPSL laughing all the way to the bank. Live from the Kiel Center in St. Louis, Missouri, it's NPSL Balls of Fire. This afternoon, it's the defending league champion Cleveland Crunch against the St. Louis Ambush. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Greg Mace. Last year, these two teams met in the league championship series, and Cleveland won it in sudden death overtime. This year, they're still the two best teams in all of indoor soccer. They are leading their respective divisions. But ironically, Art Kramer, both these teams are a little bit banged up, and the one guy we just saw, Zoran Karic, is still banged up. He is going to play just a little bit today.
Yeah, Zoran's going to play only on restarts and power plays. What that means for St. Louis is they need to play an up-tempo game, but they need to play a clean game. The less they see of the Z-man, the better.
Now, Cleveland comes back from a European tour, and they're just a little bit tired. They've been on the road for a long time. St. Louis is also a little bit banged up. They've got some of their key players out, but one of their key players, Kevin Hundelt, is back.
Yeah, if you did the balloting right now for Defender of the Year, this man, Kevin Hundelt, would win it, in my estimation. Good two-way player. Watch the way he gets forward out of the back to support the offense.
So these two teams know each other very well. It's a rematch of last year's championship series. It was a great one. There's still two of the best teams in the league. It's NPSL Balls of Fire coming up next from the Kiel Center in St. Louis. Fire that's already gone up for the St. Louis Ambush. This is a great soccer town. There's a lot of tradition here. They always draw big crowds, and we're going to see that again today. Here are the defending champion Cleveland Crunch, and a lot of familiar names there, starting with the goalkeeper Otto Orff. Tim Timo on the back line, along with Schweitzer, Schmetzer, Tanner, and Hector Marinaro in the lineup, Art.
Yeah, and really an absence of a target man on that line. It'll be interesting to see what player there takes that role as target man in the absence of Zoran Karic.
Gary Henley in his third year as coach, and he's brought his team back from a European tour where they played some of the top indoor teams over in the Zurich Cup indoor tournament. They went 1-3-1 over there. Gary told me this morning he learned a lot from that tournament. He thinks his players got mentally tougher because of that tournament.
Yeah, well, they had 6 days off before that tournament, so really a kind of second preseason for them, if you will, going over to Switzerland and getting some action in there.
Now the St. Louis lineup, and there is one of the all-time great goalkeepers in the history of the game, Jamie Swanner, who, as usual, gets the start. Not only is he a great goalkeeper, he's also got 1 goal and 9 assists.
Yeah, and the fans around St. Louis and talking to him are really pleased with this acquisition of Jamie Swanner. Had played a number of years in Buffalo and Canton, now back in his hometown of St. Louis and really producing.
One of 3 player coaches in this league, Daryl Duran. He is the leader on the field in terms of the coach. He's an indoor soccer veteran in his 3rd year as coach here, and not only is a strong coach, but also a strong player as well.
Yeah, he made second team all as a player last year, besides being the coach of the year, and certainly has the inside track on coach of the year for this season.
This is a great game for kids, and there's a lot of kids on hand. And it's always a good crowd here in St. Louis. And what a beautiful building this is. This is the Kiel Center. It was supposed to be the primary home, of course, of the St. Louis Blues, who are not playing because of the hockey lockout. And here's a look at our officials. Gary Huber on the left, Steve Siomas in the center, and Holly Hollingsworth on the right. And they were wearing black armbands in mourning of an official who passed away, Art.
Yeah, that's right. Carl Beck has been a longtime official, just passed away December 26th. Our best goes out to his family from all of us here.
Cleveland leading the American Division, and Baltimore is right there with them. That just like last year, the Cleveland Crunch leading the way. They have won 2 in a row, and Baltimore is right behind a game behind. The Spirit have been hot, and then everybody battling for those final 2 playoff spots, and everything is tight. The National Division led by the St. Louis Ambush. They had won 10 in a row until last week when they lost to the Kansas City Attack, and the Attack right now the hottest team in the league, Art.
Yeah, they had Steve Maurer, Kevin Hundelt, Steve Kuntz out for that game, 3 big players. They've got Hundelt and Maurer back for this evening's game. I think it should really help them.
Chicago's playing a lot better, and Detroit is struggling. Detroit has lost 11 in a row, and they're trying to regroup right now. We told you about the armband there in memory of Carl Beck, longtime official who passed away, and as Art said, our best goes out to his family. And here is Tim Tima. He is the Iron Man of the NPSL. He leads in penalty minutes.
And you see him there, Greg, he's not happy. And I'll tell you the reason why. It's because his Cleveland Browns really took it on the chin last night. Look for Tima to rack up some penalty minutes here this afternoon.
He's got that intense look on his face, as he always does. 309 penalty minutes. Lifetimers. Franklin McIntosh of now the Baltimore Spirit, who is well behind him. Well, if you like this game, we've got a lot more coming up here on the Deuce. And note the change. You're going to get a chance to see the great Tony Meola, World Cup goalkeeper, now with the Buffalo Blizzard. That will be next week, January the 15th at 12 p.m. Eastern against the Baltimore Spirit. So another chance to see Tony Meola. Then in January the 21st, we changed again. You'll see the Chicago Power up against the Detroit Rockers. Chicago's been coming on strong. Then 2 more looks at the Cleveland Crunch as they go up against state rival Canton. And Chicago takes on those same Cleveland Crunch. There's Jamie Swanner. Here's a guy who's got some great statistics, but is just a great veteran of this game, Art.
Yeah, you see there, he spits on his glove. That's interesting. You would think that they'd want to keep those dry. Zoran Karic come on the floor for the first time for this restart.
This is where Cleveland is so deadly, off of these quick restarts. And there's Zorn. He has not played much in the last few weeks. Didn't play at all in the European trip. In front to Hector. Blocked. And Cleveland regains the ball. Now St. Louis back the other way with it. That's where you got to stop Cleveland, and they did. Steve Maurer to Moser. Deflected into the net. Off of Scott Schweitzer. And nobody feels worse than he does. It's 2-0 St. Louis.
Well, Greg, Cleveland's got to be careful when Zoran comes on the field to make sure they get back defensively after the restart. This time they don't get back quickly enough. And there you see, unfortunately for Schweitzer, that ball hits him and goes in the net. But St. Louis came down 3 against 2. They need to get in transition quickly after their own restarts break down.
So Moser will get credit for the goal, and sometimes it's trying to turn it out or get it back to your goalie, or you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that was the problem with Scott Schweitzer right there. 2-0 St. Louis has taken the lead. You get a look from the end zone of this beautiful new building. Nearly 20,000 people. State-of-the-art facility. The Kia Center in St. Louis. One Carbonera, number 2 for Cleveland at midfield. Lost it. Ford has to come out. Gave it right to Maurer. 4-0 St. Louis.
And Otto's lucky he didn't hurt himself there, Greg, going back after that ball. Almost racked his knee into the post.
We're waiting. Fire it. They're waiting for a good goal. There we go. There's two strange ones so far.
Yeah, Otto gives it away, and then Oscar tried to take down Maurer, but Maurer just flicks it off the post, and Otto's lucky he didn't hurt his knee. Came sliding in.
Well, you see, it's on St. Louis's side here early. They've scored 2 goals in 2.5 minutes.
And they had got on their side early here, Greg.
And Gary Henley talking to his team and saying, we cannot give up goals like this. You cannot give up goals. You certainly cannot give them up like that.
Down there. And he might have been able to draw that 2 minutes. Good speed, though, by Schweitzer to get by him.
2 minutes left, first quarter. Cleveland is yet to score. Marinaro saved by Swanner. The rebound. Miller over the net. Their best restart yet. Here's what Cleveland's noted for.
Hundelt really has an eye on Marinero. You can't shut him down every time, but a great save by Swanner. See Hector coming all the way over from the left point into the middle of the field. But Hundelt has really had a close watch on Hector on the restart.
Mauer. Steve Mauer in the corner. Aaron Beatty's now on for his first shift with him. Here comes Cleveland. Hector Marinero, number 21, one of the all-time greats of indoor soccer. Tries to go around Darryl Duran, and a whistle and a foul.
Oh, tough call that time. It looked like Darryl just got his body in good position defensively.
Well, both pushing and shoving. Carrots off the restart. And a goal. Doug Miller.
And there you have it. St. Louis has done a great job for the first 11 minutes and not giving up too many restarts. Now they've given up 4 or 5 in the last 2 minutes. And if you do that long enough against the crunch, they're going to make you pay. And you see Miller.
Cleveland is so strong about faking the restart, and it's not so much that the defenders aren't quite sure what to do. It's they're not quite sure where the ball is going to go. When you have a young team like St. Louis, often the great character and the great thoughts of Zoran Karic when it goes through his mind, what am I going to do in the restart? This younger St. Louis team, not quite sure what's going to come off the Z-man's foot.
And when you got a guy like Hector out there, you can also use him as a decoy. Everyone focusing on Hector, and that time they slide it to Miller.
So Cleveland has pulled it within a goal at 4-2. Remember, the goals are worth 2 points in regular situations. And this can often, if you haven't seen this game before, makes for great comebacks if we got to that point. Here's Zorn paying off. He's not playing a whole lot. As we said, he's just on for the restarts. He's been injured for a lot of this season. Ball's off the glass. Gutierrez. Carbonera, number 2, off the glass again. Here's John Gates coming out for the ambush. Out the center, John Klein falls down, and now Cleveland gets the momentum back as Gutierrez drops into the corner. Miller's got the only goal for Cleveland. Goes off his chest, and Jamie Swanner comes up with under a minute left. First quarter. John Klein to Darryl Duran. The player coach stops and pops and scores.
Boy, I give Johnny Klein a lot of credit on this goal. What's the sweet move by Duran to pull that ball back? Oh, and then a nice finish. But Klein did a great job at midfield to elude 2 Cleveland players to set that one up.
A defender who can do it all. It's his 10th goal of the season.
What a nice little move, too, behind the back. I tell you, Klein lost that ball at midfield. Cleveland would have been the other way, 2-0. As St. Louis had everybody pushed up into the attack.
So St. Louis takes a 6-2 lead under 30 seconds left in the first quarter. And here's the man who got that goal, Darryl Duran. Cleveland looking to punch one, and here's Carbonera off the glass. Schweitzer got it back. From outside the three-point arc, takes it to the corner. Schweitzer off the board. Tanner is right there. So is John Klein, number 5, and here's Darryl Duran again. Clearing it out. Now that should do it as Duran just clears it all the way up into the bench. And
oh, Darryl can't be too pleased with himself there. He's going to give Cleveland a restart. Just back outside the yellow line. There's still time, Greg.
We've seen a lot more happen in a lot less time. Gary Henley hoping for one quick shot here. The win in from here will be a 3-pointer. Hector Marinero. That's 10 rows back.
Even that one was out of Hector's range.
So Jamie Swanner will just tap it out to Duran to run out this first quarter. At times sluggish, but St. Louis is certainly accomplishing what they want to do. They've taken Cleveland out of their game. They've had some fluky goals, but the best one so far has given them a 6-2 lead. Jamie Swanner's only given up 1. St. Louis, before a nice home crowd, with a 6-2 lead over the defending champs. Center, St. Louis, Missouri. The St. Louis ambush up 6-2 on Cleveland. Art Cleveland is coming back from a rather lengthy, mentally lengthy trip to Europe. And perhaps that's getting them a little bit. Physically, they may be okay. Mentally, they're not as sharp.
Well, they did have 6 days off before that trip, so, you know, that excuse might not go all the way. But you know, one thing that does a trip like that is it really builds camaraderie amongst the teams. I was with that team last night, Cleveland, went out to dinner with them. Boy, really a close-knit group, and I have to think a trip like that helps with the camaraderie part of it.
Take a look at the shots on goal, and Cleveland outshot them, and there's one that counts, though, as John Klein gives St. Louis an 8-2 lead.
Well, a lot of indoor soccer is being in the right place at the right time, and that time the ball just deflects to the far post to Johnny Klein. Watch this ball deflect right there off of Tima. Not a whole lot you can do if you're the Cleveland defense. Had their men covered, but a bad deflection goes right to Johnny Klein.
And Orf's given up 4 goals here, and John Klein, another one of the St. Louis products on this team from St. Louis University, his 9th goal of the year. And St. Louis takes an 8-2 lead. And here's the Z-man, Zorn Karic, playing off the restart. Just a shot. Swan blocked it. Schmetzer. Duran headed it away. Number 7, Darryl Duran, the player poked for the ambush. Zorn with Martin. Loose in front. And a foul. And a blue card.
And a penalty kick coming up. They're going to say this one was in the box. Great individual effort by Moser to stay with that one. And then as he was trying to score, might have gotten chopped down from behind. I watched Moser stay with this ball. And that's what they called right there, sliding in.
Well, Spencer is not happy, and let's see what else they call against him. This will be a penalty kick because the foul was in the box. Just like in the outdoor game, if the foul occurs in the box and it's a blatant 2-minute call, you get a penalty kick. The shot, the goal here would be worth 2 points.
Schmetzer's going to get 5 more for arguing, but Cleveland won't have to play shorthanded for those 5. Schmetzer will just have to sit him.
What are we doing on TV? Of course, the ball is alive. Martin Moser is going to take the shot. Chances of missing this are usually slim and none.
And you won't see him side foot this one. It's going to be an instep drive with the left foot.
This will be a rocket. Mark Moser. He's already got 1 goal. He's looking for his 30th of the season here.
Yeah, Otto's trying to cheat a little bit there. Pull the carpet up to help him. Wants to make sure he's got the good footing there. Here we go.
10-2 St. Louis.
You have virtually no chance of your goalkeeper on those. Otto just tries to make himself as big as he can, but watch Otto.
Where do you go? You can't. So 2 goals within a minute. And it's given St. Louis a 10-2 lead. And there's the reason why the man in the penalty box, Andy Schmetzer.
See, and I like that, Greg. The man that gets fouled is the one that gets to take the kick. As a player, you always hated to draw the foul in the box, and then they let somebody else take the kick before you get to shoot again.
Well, that ball is a rocket. You can't appreciate it unless you're standing in the goal. Kevin Hundell knocked down, and another blue card. Now you'll get to see another part of this game, the 5-second shootout. And here's why. Marinaro took him down. Now we'll go 5 seconds for 1 point. Wow. The player shooting the ball will have 5 seconds to score. He can get off as many shots as he can. Usually it's 2 at certainly the most.
Hector wants to know what's going on here. Hey, we're losing 10-2. Give us a break, guys.
Moser North. The guy who just scored on the penalty kick gets it again. Well, the boards were Otto's best friend on that one, and he couldn't get off another shot, and the score holds at 10-2. And now St. Louis will play with a one-man advantage.
And if I'm a coach, I never like that, is a left-footed player taking the shot with his right foot or vice versa. You would want to think that the player would want to take the shot with a strong foot, and for Moser, that's his left.
So St. Louis has a one-man advantage and a 10-2 lead. A goal here would be worth 1 point. It's the power play. Darryl Duran, top of the box. They're back out to midfield, and now St. Louis can just set it up deliberately as they have been even when they weren't on the power play. Duran with Hundell on the back line. Darryl's number 7. Broken up. That's what Cleveland's got to do is Rogicevich comes to center. Rogicevich at midfield. Walks right in. Shoots. Swanner got a foot on it. Cleared into the net. Another fluky goal.
Boy, that's big time for the Crunch, Greg. They needed that desperately. Short-handed goal by the Cowboy. And actually, I think St. Louis put that ball in their own net. Watch Oscar initially beat these two players. Swanner comes up with the save. And let's see what happens here.
Same thing. Same thing as the first goal in this game. Well, most importantly, though, for Cleveland, it's pulled them to within 6 points and has gotten them back into the game. Davis off the glass. Rebound into the crowd. 1:09 left on the St. Louis power play. 6:33 left. Second quarter. And St. Louis holding the 10-4 lead and holding the power play.
As a player, that's something you really love. Short-handed goals. Get you pumped up. You're going nowhere down 10-2. Cowboy comes up with a big one.
And there's two of their key players in the penalty box right now.
And if you're the guy that got the penalty called on him, you come over and say, it was intended. I wanted to fire him up, get a short-handed goal.
And hope they believe it. 50 seconds now left on the front penalty. Steve Maurer. Great shot by Steve Maurer.
That's my former high school teammate and teammate with Canton with the Invaders. Look at that bullet by Maurer.
His second goal of the game is 20th of the season. And a bullet. St. Louis comes right back on the power play. That's good for 1. It's good for an 11-4 lead. Second quarter.
He's still in play when it hits the boards. Viola 1-3 in his first 4 games, but as you said, still adjusting.
Got to get used to this, particularly for the keepers. It's such a different game. A lot faster pace, but Viola's been a great draw. A lot of people want to come out and see him, and I'm sure after a few more games he'll continue to sharpen his skills and get the idea.
And Buffalo had a 13-2 lead against Chicago the other night and lost 14-13.
You both got it. Rogicevich in front of Marinaro, and he scores. Hector Marinaro tapped it past Swanner. Right on the doorstep, Art.
Yeah, Cleveland needed a lift, and the Cowboy, Oscar Rogicevich, has given it to him. There you see a beautiful pass to Hector waiting at the far post. What's the outside of the foot pass there to split 2 defenders? And we mentioned St. Louis sometimes has a tendency to get caught forward. You can get in behind them, as Hector did there.
Hector's 38th goal of the season. Not bad. Players in the history of this game together.
Oh, this is interesting. Hector's going to be on the ball, and Zoran moves down low.
Gutierrez is right in front of Swanner, right at the post. Hector with a shot deflected. Miller in front. Gutierrez tapped it home. And that cuts the lead to 3 points.
I had the feeling Hector was going to shoot, and that's why they made that switch. Zoran mustn't be able to strike the ball that well with the injury. But what's the little pass by Miller? Nice play. A lot of players would have tried to shoot that ball from a bad angle. But he saw Gutierrez parked at the other post.
So So 2 goals in 2 minutes, and Cleveland is now really back in this game. 37 points this year for Henry Gutierrez. Been playing in France, and they sort of picked him up as, almost not as an afterthought, but they really didn't think he was going to play here this year. And he was available and came over and said he wanted to play, and boy, he's been a great addition to this Cleveland team. Here's a head ball by Moser that goes over Orff and into the crowd, and a little lackadaisical effort once again by
Clear that ball in the stands and give Cleveland another restart right here at the top of the D.
And Karich will take it. Faking, waiting. Then Marinaro in front of the goal. Well, St. Louis is obviously not happy about that, as you can see. And suddenly the crunch, as we've seen it happen so many times, right back in this game.
And right back in this game off of a restart. That time St. Louis just cleared the ball into the stands to allow that restart late in the first half. And if they're upset, they should be upset with themselves for not taking care of the ball.
Karich gets the assist, and suddenly it's a 1-point game. St. Louis 11, Cleveland 10. Well, we told you, this game, the scoring rules, the way it's played, there's always a comeback. Dragicevic clears it back to center as we count it down here in the second quarter.
Come on.
Cleveland's got 3 straight to hold it within a point.
Come on, keep going. Yeah, it was 10-2 at one time in 11 floor. You're right, Greg, a 6-0 run by the Crunch here to close out the first half.
Darryl Duran. Orff makes the save. Here comes Cleveland with another chance. Marinaro to midfield. Carbonero on his right. Gets the step. Carbonero's in, and Swanner about a foot on it. Serembides, Duran now clearing it out. Tried to clear it out for St. Louis. Swanner gets it. Looks downfield. Ouch. Hundell. Few seconds to work with. Let's see if they try to get another shot off into the box. Orff couldn't get his hands around it. Moser with Marinaro. That should do it as Orff comes up with it. Well, what a comeback for Cleveland. Looking absolutely down and out. They couldn't get the ball out of their own end. They couldn't make a good pass. They couldn't clear. And suddenly the defending champs are back to within a point. St. Louis heads to the locker room. That's where we're going to take it at halftime. We've got a lot more coming up. 11-10 St. Louis. Second half of play, and they are down 11-10 to the St. Louis ambush. Glenn Carbonero taking the bench. You know, you get a lot more than just a soccer game when you come to St. Louis. What is that? What is it? It's the blimp. The blimp. It's dropping free prizes to the crowd.
And I want to know how that thing stays up without the propellers going.
I don't think there's anybody in it. That must be a fun thing to control. It's the biggest blimp I've ever seen in an indoor arena. There it goes.
Oh, it looks like the left one's working.
Oh,
there they both go.
It's going back in the ceiling. It's miles up in that ceiling, by the way. That's a long, long trip. I told you we had a blimp. Let's go down to the locker room with Gary Henley. Gary, you with us there?
I got you. I can hear you.
Gary, tell us a little bit about the first half, because you were down big early and then suddenly you get 3 quick goals. What happened?
Well, I think the shorthanded goals sort of turned things around a little bit for us, and then we started getting a couple of restart goals. You know, we get Zoran in there and Hector, but they tend to pack it in a little bit on defending and try and make a shell, and we might not get a clean goal on the free kick, but we got 2 second chances and rebounds, so that sort of got us back in it, and hopefully we can keep our composure, and a couple of penalties hurt us, but, you know, at 1 point, so we got to be happy with the halftime score.
Hey, Gary, I noticed the one time you put Hector on the ball as opposed to Zoran, and you got a goal off of that.
Yeah, and we talked about that at halftime. They'll take a man off the wall and go with Z, even though that he probably can't shoot the ball except left-footed, and it ended up a 2-man wall for Hector. So you might see that again in the second half. We did talk about it at halftime.
Gary, thanks a lot. We'll let you get back to the game. Gary Henley.
Thanks, guys.
Coach of the Cleveland Crunch will return to the bench, and we're going to return to the field, and Hector getting set, and there's the coach of St. Louis, who is in uniform. He is the player coach.
I can guarantee you one thing. He said Zoran can shoot the ball with his left foot. He will not try that in this game.
And there's Gary, who's quickly returned to the bench from the locker room area. And here we go with the second half of play from So Dangerous, and Darryl Duran gets it, chips it up off the glass. to the opposite corner. Comes back. Here comes Hector. He is the only man back to Swanner. And a goal, and Cleveland has the lead.
And that's off of St. Louis's restart. Hector sneaks into the attacking zone, and look at this finish.
58 seconds in to the third quarter.
Definitely one of the top 3 ball strikers in the league.
And for the first time in this game, Cleveland has the lead. 12-11. And St. Louis has given up 4 straight goals. And now Cleveland looks to make it 5. Doug Miller has Gutierrez on his right. Hundell is with him. Back to Otto Wolf. Wolf with the right foot. Doug Miller, nice chest trap. Comes back to Vucevic at midfield. Back to Orff. Can't play it across that yellow line. Would have been an over and back. That's why Otto comes out. Glenn Carbonera, number 2. Tripped up. And Cleveland gets it back. Daryl Duran was tapped it back to his keeper, Jamie Swanner.
Yeah, St. Louis needs to find a way to turn this momentum. 8-0 run by Cleveland.
Well, is that the way?
There it is. Watch again, Mark Moser. And that ball was spinning. Wow, what a spin that was. Took Otto by surprise. Actually, with Scotty McDaniel. But that spin off the boards, Greg, was something.
And Scotty McDaniel gets his 8th goal of the season. And a lot of strange spins in this one. A lot of strange twists, but it's made for an interesting game. And a close one, and a fun one. We're live in St. Louis, and the home ambush back on top. For soccer, a rematch of last year's championship. Swanner got beat in the last shootout.
Yeah, and Hector's only 3 for 10 this year on the shootouts. He was almost unstoppable last season. Goalie's starting to catch on to what he does, and they've been shutting him down for the most part this season.
So now, St. Louis will have to kill off a 2-minute penalty, and this crowd is now really fired up. We'll take a look from high above the Kiel Center. Beautiful new building. Both home of the ambush and the St. Louis Blues, who have not played here as of yet. Cleveland with a 1-man advantage. It's loose in front. Oh, Orff had to come off.
They also got the college hoops. They're playing a little spoon ball with Charlie Spoonhour.
St. Louis University was in here Thursday night on ESPN, and then yesterday on the Goose. They lost to UMass here on Thursday, and then beat Alabama Birmingham yesterday afternoon.
Very respectable against UMass, though.
UMass very, very tough, as they always are. Should be number 1 this week with Carolina falling, Arkansas falling. UCLA also lost over the weekend. But back to the side. Back to the side. Here's Carriage. A lot of great sports tradition in this town. College basketball part of it. The ambush. Soccer been part of it for a long time. Doug Miller right in the corner. Marinaro. 50 seconds left in the power play. Hundell clears it down. Andy Spencer right there. Hello, boys. Nice to see you. Well, what are they going to call?
Well, initially a blue card came out, but Steve Siomas, director officials, cleared it up, and I think it's just going to be a restart for the Crunch. The Crunch leads the NPSL on the power play right at 50%.
Well, 36 seconds now left in the power play for Cleveland and the 1-man advantage. A goal here will be worth 1 point and give them a 1-point lead. Carriage. 25 seconds left in the power play. Carriage spins, turns, still on it. Nice defensive play by St. Louis. Here come the ambush, short-handed. John Klein. Still controlling. Left side, broken up. McDaniel was there. And that'll kill it off.
Steve Siomas was very close to pulling out a delayed blue card that time on Cleveland. A good penalty killing by the ambush.
And now we're at even strength, and Carriage is still on. Zorn off the glass. Harry Brown right there for St. Louis' number 12. Clears it out to Laposha. Fourth comes out. Plays it out to Dragicevic, and here comes Cleveland. Rena on the break. Back to the action, and now Tanner gave it up. Moser all over him, pulled down, whistle. Tanner pulled down Moser, and a little shove. Let's get physical. Duran to Jeff Davis with a shot and a goal!
Not only a goal, that's a three-pointer.
Pretty good time to score your first goal of the year.
Exactly, and especially after having committed that penalty earlier in the quarter, comes back in a big way with a three-pointer.
From outside that 45-foot arc, it's worth three. It's our first three of the game, and it's the biggest goal so far for the ambush, and they've got a 16-13 lead. There's still a lot of time left. 1 minute left in the third quarter. Number 13:59, and Cleveland now down by 3 points. We tick it down here in the third quarter. Tima. Tanner, who's now back out of the box off the misconduct. Tanner, number 8, plays it back to Orth. 35 seconds left in the third quarter. Well, Cleveland just kind of content maybe to look for one shot. Gave it right up. Tina had to be right at the right place at the right time. Drives Klein off the play. Did a little bit more than ride him off the play. Tanner, time ticking down. And another whistle. Now, here we go. Tanner is really getting on a couple of these guys.
Yeah. You saw what Tima did. That's what you want from your captain. You just get a three-point scored on you. You want him to take control, start knocking the people around.
And he did just that. Time runs down here in the third quarter. Tima gets it. Now, got a quick restart here. 3.2 seconds left, and that's always time for a goal. Plenty of time. The ambush will get the ball. They have a 3-point lead. And Daryl Duran says, just set it up. Is he going to call time? I think they're just going to set and play. Now, Jamie Swanner's come off the bench and will have a sixth attacker.
But they don't have time to get the guy with the jersey. See, now they've got to have somebody with a goalie jersey on. They've got 6 players in white. And it goes! I don't know. The question is, did time expire?
And it appears it's in. Well, let's wait. Team is going to the bench.
Well, the red light came on, Greg, and that's the sign. If the ball goes in after the horn, a green light will come on. But the red light did come on, but hey, I'm not so sure you can have 6 players with no one having a goalie jersey on there.
Well, now the officials continue to confer, and that's why there's a third official.
Now watch the light go behind. Oh, you can't see it from there, but if you see a red light come on, it means it was before time has expired. If time expires, then the green light comes on. Even if the goal judge flips that switch, a green light will come on.
All right, open the door, put a second back on the clock.
They're going to put a second back on the clock. It's no goal.
No, it will be a goal. It will be a goal, but with 1 second left on the clock is what I think they're saying.
Okay. So the bench is telling us no goal, and then Hector was waving it off as well.
Ah, see? 6 players on the field without that jersey. You got to have somebody with a yellow jersey on, our goalkeeper jersey, and they didn't have that. They had 6 players in their white jerseys.
Right, that's exactly what you were saying what seemed to be 5 minutes ago when they came on the first time. But you're right, there was nobody as a 6th attacker with that jersey on.
Let's hear what he's saying.
How many seconds do they have on the clock?
3-2. Let's listen
3.2.
3.2.
What's up? Do they have a goalkeeper when we started? No. No goalkeeper. When we started the same way. 3.2 to the same result. We have a 3.2.
Well, there you have it. There was no goalkeeper. We're going to start the same way we started before. There was no goalie in the game.
Yeah, they didn't have time to get the jersey on one of the guys, so they just threw an extra guy on. And that's the job of that third official in the box to...
All right. We have the restart going in. 3.2 seconds. 3.2 or 3?
3.2. Did he say restart going east?
I think he did.
I love it. Restart's going east.
Well, that's what we'll do. We'll just play this whole thing over. None of that counted. It was only your imagination.
See, I thought it was 3.2.
I think it
that
was.
They had to start that restart.
Maybe you can't. So there was no designated goaltender.
And you've still got 3 seconds. I'm not so sure why they don't put the 6th attacker on now, which is what they wanted to do. Instead, they just put Swanner back in the goal. They still have the restart with 3 seconds left.
And it's also a 2-minute unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against St. Louis. There'll be no shootout. Niles with a Moses in the box. Well, we're still waiting. Now the question becomes, where are they going to restart from? Now, Daryl Duran is going to put the 6th attacker jersey on. Daryl Duran will put the 6th attacker jersey on.
And actually, it'll be the 5th attacker because they have a man in the penalty box.
And out of all that, that's the end of the quarter. A little controversy that results in a goal that didn't count, a penalty that does, and the ambush still have the lead. 16-13 from the Kiel Center. Fourth keeper in the league, as you can tell from the statistics. Warren Westcoat's having a great year as well.
Yeah, and look at the 12 wins for Swanner.
He's a veteran of this game. He's been around for a long time. And certainly one of the smartest indoor soccer goalies in the history of the game. Here's Doug Miller. There's Gutierrez, and it's in the net.
Oh, we jinxed him, Greg.
Right off the boards, and just as we said it, it goes in.
How many times do you see that, though? You talk about a guy, watch this ball come off the boards and hit Swanner in the back. Right there. Hit him in the arm.
Well, it's pulled Cleveland to within a point. And it's setting up another great finish. 16-15. And a great crowd on hand. This is a great soccer city. But even more impressive, it's a Sunday afternoon. People could be watching the NFL.
Yeah, and those crowds are going to get bigger here in St. Louis. The fact that they have all St. Louis in. My family has had season tickets for the St. Louis team for years. They love the fact that it's all St. Louis players.
Hundelt will get the free kick. Blocked by Orff. That would have been a 3, and Orff gets it out. Looks downfield for Marinaro. Hector with Swanner. Saved by Swanner. Nice defensive play by Daryl Duran. Dragicevic got it back. In front of the goal, Henry Gutierrez. And Cleveland has the lead.
Great positioning that time by the rookie. Watch himself park himself in front, and that just deflected nicely in there. And once again, off a St. Louis restart at the other end, the play comes back down and they get burned.
And his second goal in just over 2 minutes, and Cleveland's back on top. 17-16. cannot sit on the lead. 7.5 left. Cleveland's got the 1-point advantage. Rogicevich, nice move. Top of the box is Zorn. Touch and go. Swanner comes up with it. Can Mauer get the step?
The late blue card coming.
We're waiting till Cleveland touches it. McDaniel. Now the blue card.
And I love that call. Just like hockey, let them play till the other team touches the ball.
And now St. Louis will have a chance to tie it and then take the lead.
And Tommy Tanner better be careful. He's already gotten 5. Now right here, definitely a blue card, but because Mauer keeps his feet, good call by Siomas to wait on the call.
And Schweitzer looked up. He didn't hear the whistle and figured, well, I didn't do anything, sort of waved his arms, and then they pulled the blue card. Well, we have an injured player down on the field, and as he regains himself, when we come back, St. Louis will have a chance to tie it up in a shootout. Cleveland has a 17-16 lead. Fourth against Moser. This is good for 1 point if it goes, and can tie the game up. 5 seconds. As many shots as you can take. Got the step. We're tied at 17.
Yeah, last time Moser shot directly, and he just waited for Otto to commit himself. Hey, we got a game now, Greg.
Well, that's what we expected in the first quarter, and now we're going end to end, and now St. Louis has a chance to take the lead because they'll have a one-man advantage here for the next 2 minutes. Some costly penalties. And Mark Moser gets the goal. His third of this. Well, they gave it up, and here is Andy Schmetzer. Cleveland shorthanded. Got it across to Zorn. Right in front. Shipped it up over the net. It's loose again. Play on.
And Swanner is down, and now he's up.
And St. Louis has a break and a shot and a goal. Mark Moser. St. Louis takes the lead.
And there you see the shot by Moser. You know what happened on that play, Greg? Zoran Karic got tangled up with Jamie Swanner at the far end of the field. And that created a 4-on-3. And you see Moser finish it.
1 point power play goal.
Worth 1 point. Well, St. Louis is now pumped, but we've still got a long, long, long way to go. St. Louis with a 1 point lead as we wrap it down.
I have a feeling Cleveland's going to get one.
Schmetzer to Marinaro. They're down by a point. A goal would give them the lead. Schmetzer got saved by Swanner.
He can throw it in.
He's got the open net.
Oh, what a save by Hector.
Finally caught up to it, but now Cleveland's got to get downfield quickly. They're down by a point. A goal would give them the lead and possibly the win. Nice tackle by Hundell. Rogicevich tripped him up. Now it'll be a free kick. The St. Louis bench is very anxious. Waiting. Now Hector will stay in goal. Because to bring Orff back on at this point would be rather futile.
Cleveland wants to double team the ball. Darrell's going to get a timeout here for St. Louis.
Well, what does St. Louis do now? Just play it back or be aggressive?
That depends what Cleveland does. If they mark all the men, then St. Louis probably just going to have to dump it down and try to hold it in the corner with either Mauer or Moser.
Take a look at Terry Brown, who's been having his injury problems, playing for the first time in 8 months. 24 seconds left. Don't go away. St. Louis with a 1-point lead in the closing.
And watch Mauer's probably just going to try to hold this ball for as long as possible.
Just keep it down that end. Time running out. Now Cleveland will get it back. Tanner's down. Well, he's got to get up in a hurry. Here's Miller. Well, if they can turn and get it out, and it's an over-impact violation.
Oh, I don't understand why they didn't give time for Tommy Tanner to get up and be attended to. He's still down.
And that's what Hector, I think, is complaining about, that they didn't give him any time for Tanner to recover. And it wasn't. Now they've given a card to Hector. And now Zoran's in Siomas' face. Well, the emotions here at the end have obviously gotten the better of their two top players, and Hector's going in. Let's listen to see what happens. There's Steve Siomas.
Hey! Back off! Hey! You're out of the game! Go ahead, you have to be different. You're out of the game. You're out of the game.
And he's thrown Karich out for obvious reasons.
You're out of the game.
Well, those guys are not happy.
Oh, we've never seen that before, though, have we?
No. The last time you and I were in Cleveland together, it happened again. Well, you know, they could have given him a chance to get up, but you can't start yapping here at the end of the game or you're just going to get penalized like that happened, and now St. Louis has total control.
And I love when Tanner came in to have a word with Mauer. Tanner's 5'7", Mauer's 6'4".
It's a highly volatile, it's a very emotional game. These are the two best teams in the league. They had an incredible playoff series at the end of the season last year that Cleveland won.
Somebody needs to tell Zoran Karich that our producer, George Veras, has a flight very soon here.
Well, we're all going to be here. I have one, too.
Then they hit a fucking three.
Well, St. Louis will get it back. 11.1 seconds left, and they can just run out the clock. And it looks like Schmetzer is now in the goal. He will wear the 6th attacker jersey. But the crowd on their feet, a little mock cheer to Tommy Tanner. But they appreciate what St. Louis has done today.
Tell you what, though, still not over.
No, we've seen crazier things happen. Now they'll just play it back. McDaniel. He put it into the crowd. Now
it's a no-no.
Now Cleveland will get another shot with 6 seconds left. Now let's see what's happened. Here we go.
Here we go.
This is Mauer.
It's landed a couple.
Mauer and Dragicevic. They are not coming off the benches, but here we go. That's Dragicevic in the middle of all that. Miller's trying to pull him off. McDaniel. And here's Marinara trying to get out of the box, arguing with a penalty timekeeper. And Jamie Swanner's got to calm him down. Now these guys will not come off the bench because we're talking major fines and penalties there. And look at the cut. Look at the cut over the eye of Steve Mauer.
And give Mauer credit for not retaliating as the Cowboy, Oscar Dragicevic, landed a couple right hands.
Well, this is a bad scene to end this game. They were literally throwing punches at each other down the other end.
Hey, he's 6'4", too. It's not a guy I'd want to mess with.
Well, Mauer heads for the bench. And now Tima comes over. Mauer's going to the locker room. And Carbonera and Tima are now talking it over, not politely, with Steve Siomas.
I like what Mauer did, though. Just go straight to the locker room. Not worried about trying to get back. At least not for now, anyway.
But now here's the key to this whole thing. St. Louis put the ball in the crowd, and Cleveland's got a chance to win the game.
right. Let's 2 minutes.
Let's listen in.
Okay. Every player says now he goes in the foul. He's a goalkeeper. He counts. God goes in and he's fouling the game. Okay? Mauer is out. Okay,
Mauer is out of the game.
Somebody can say he's over there. Mauer is just stop ball. Okay? Every player
And I think Schmetzer is Schweitzer as well.
He's getting here. 2 minutes in the box. He was right there, right in front of the Subaru, right out here in the middle. The ball is right there. I know where the ball is. You know where it is.
Oh, and now Swanner's going to have to go to the box. They're going to have to bring on Bill Cowie, the backup, to face this last shot. You know, the problem is, though, Greg, all their big shooters are gone for Cleveland.
Duran says, let's just work this out after the game, put the guys in the box, and let's finish it. Now Jamie Swanner is exchanging pleasantries with Steve Siomis. And here's Bill Cowie, who is the backup.
Cowie actually led the league last year in the playoffs, points against average.
Swanner apparently left the goal box during the altercation. And is given 2 minutes.
Wasn't he the guy that was trying to restrain Hector?
Yes. So he's penalized for that.
So much for doing a good deed. How would this be if Cleveland hits the 3 here to win it?
All they need is the 2 now. One of the wildest finishes of the season. And if you just tune in, we'll see what happened here earlier. Now watch what happens down the other end.
And you see that's Dragicevic, the instigator for sure. Throws the punch, and then Mauer decides. And then Dragicevic again, you can't see it there, but he's landing more punches. I don't see where Mauer deserves to get the red, but
what the rules say. Keep him out of the back.
Well, he went back into the fray there. I guess that's why he got it. But then there was an initial punch, a legitimate punch from Dragicevic. Hey, you're missing a lot. Wake up.
This is taking longer than the old NFL instant replay. Now, I thought Tanner had been thrown out of the game, and there he is in the yellow jersey.
Well, by the way, there's still 6.4 seconds left, and Cleveland still has a chance to win this. And a reminder that Thoroughbred Racing is coming up next. If you tuned in, National Best 7 Thoroughbred Racing.
Well, here we go. I say you shoot it directly and look for a rebound.
Mauer and Swanner are out. Schmetzer was ejected. Marinel's in the box.
And Dragicevic certainly.
Now Cleveland is going to call a timeout.
All right, Gary.
Cleveland is going to call a timeout. All right, a reminder coming up. Are you enjoying this? Wow. Coming up next week right here on the Deuce, it's Baltimore and Buffalo, and you'll get to see American World Cup goalkeeper Tony Meola. Now with the Buffalo Blizzard and the Baltimore Spirit, led by the all-time leading scorer in this league, Franklin McIntosh. McIntosh against Meola, January 15th at noon from the Odd. And again here in January, February coming up, Chicago, Detroit, January 21st. Then you'll see the same aggressive defending champion Cleveland Crunch going up against the Canton Invaders and then the Chicago Power.
Well, you've got 6.4 left on the clock, and it's 4-on-4. Both teams are going to be a man short, so what I would probably do is hit a direct shot and then look for people to crash the board.
All right, looks like they're going to have the 6 attacker on, somebody with a jersey.
And now, you're right, Cleveland now is without a goalkeeper on the floor, and that's what St. Louis was called for earlier. I think you have to have someone on the floor.
There's the empty net.
Oh, there he is. Otto's right in front of the... Otto's all the way down in front of Cowie.
There he is.
What if Otto scores this goal?
The goalkeeper is right in front of the net. 6 seconds. Gutierrez into the crowd. Well, it took 2 seconds.
Yep. And Cleveland wanted a deflection. They should have let Otto shoot that ball.
What a finish. And ironically, Bill Cowie will pick it up. And that is it. Well, it's as wild as it gets. St. Louis up early, down in the middle. Cleveland came back. A brawl, great shots, fluky goals. We saw it all. The two best teams in the league. For Art Kramer, I'm Greg Mace. So long, so long, so long.